Are y'all ready for this? Are y'all ready for this? It's Redefined TV, and today we're going to talk about who sent you.
Two of the absolute most valuable, necessary, and vital attributes in this society today is discernment and a prayer life.
Just because something sounds good doesn't mean it's sound or good. And if we're not careful, we could be so excited that finally a decent man approached us.
Finally, a decent job opportunity came our way.
Finally, a decent woman came in the room.
And due to your excitement, you can't discern that God didn't send this.
Lord, and wait, before you cut us off, please hear me. I'm only suggesting that just because it's an open door, that doesn't mean it's a God door. Please listen to this. I just taught this at my local church. I noticed that if I say give God a praise for open doors and new seasons, it will be so loud in the church that I could barely hear myself. But then if I say give God a praise for closed doors and off seasons, I can hear crickets creaking. And really, what I've learned already in the genesis of our ministry tenure is we should be giving God a better praise when he closes doors than when he opens doors, because you don't know what he just protected you from. Lord, he could have just protected you from a heartbreak. He could have just protected you from a life wreck. He could have just protected you from chaos. Your daddy has ran some things off, and some people just want the God who opens doors, but they don't want the God that closed doors. And I just want to say to you, you need to be thanking God. Matter of fact, we should pause the webisode and give him a praise for every person he ran off, every job opportunity you didn't get, every person that said it's over, because sometimes it's not rejection, it's really protection.
Some of us need to be thanking God for the underexposed season. This season is for us to learn, for us to grow, for us to heal, because the off season prepares you, develops you, trains you for your season.
This is why you should never be jealous of their season, because if you're faithful in your off season, guess what? Your season is coming. Discernment is needed because every self-proclaimed good woman or good man,
or self-proclaimed godly woman or godly man, because ladies, I know I am not the only one up in here that has met a so-called godly man and wasn't nothing godly about him. I mean, he might as well have been the devil himself, okay? He might as well been Satan himself trying to get with you, okay? I know I'm not the only one up in here. I know I'm not. Wasn't nothing godly about him. Singing in the choir, preaching in the pulpit, wasn't nothing godly about him at all. You hear me?
There's some trifling sisters too.
I know, trifling.
There's some sisters who are trifling, good for nothing type of sister. I know it say brother, but there's some girls out there that's kind of toxic. And and if I could, this is why we did this webisode, because I think instead of looking at their accessories, we need to look at their attachments. Oh, Lord. Because his accessories may be he has a nice car and a good job, but his attachments is he comes with a storm. He produces a climate that leaves your life in chaos.
Or his attachment is stealing. I mean, he steals your joy, he steals your peace, he steals your money.
Where did my hair go? Why is my hair falling out?
Time.
Don't just look at their accessories.
Don't.
Look at their attachments.
Yes.
See, if we look at a biblical example, Noah was attached to favor.
Yes.
Noah's wife wasn't attached to favor. Noah's sons wasn't attached to favor. Noah was attached to favor.
Okay.
And since all of them were with Noah, all of them became benefactors of his attachment. This is why you want to make sure God sent them.
Yes.
Because if God sent them, by default, they're attached with favor.
Right.
And favor on Noah's life prevented his whole family from experiencing a flood.
That's good.
So maybe the reason our life is flooded with so much pain and so much heartache and headache is because instead of waiting for our ark builder, we have settled for a flood producer.
Every opportunity isn't God. Some open doors are traps playing dress up.
And some people are pawns, not purpose. And this is why we believe in Proverbs chapter 3, verse 6, it tells us, in all your ways, acknowledge him. In all your ways, acknowledge the Lord, and he will direct your paths. We're not saying this is a permission slip to be paranoid, but we are saying is if you have a prayer life, God will expose the counterfeits from the God sense. See, we see the man,
but God sees the hook.
We're calling them babe.
But God's calling it bait.
I hope you catch that. God is like, don't bite that. Don't fall for that.
Nope.
I'm not in that. I didn't send that. You can't pray and ask me to keep something together that I didn't put together.
Yeah.
Who sent you? Last thing we want to share, and we're done.
Yeah.
When we were courting, there was a time, this is a true story, I'm not lying. This girl told me, don't call me no more. I'm like, for what? And she said, because I don't know who sent you. I'm on the phone like, what?
I had to figure out who he was from. Was he from God, or was he another distraction from the enemy? Because I was tired of that. And so I said, say, bruh, don't call me for a few days. I got wise counsel from people that I love, that I trusted. I prayed, I fasted, and I couldn't have him distracting me, calling me on the phone. So I asked him to stop calling me so I can take some time, because sometimes you got to distance yourself to see if this is from God, if it's a God sent, or what is it? A counterfeit.
See, sometimes we let feelings already form before we have first tried to figure out, is this who God sent?
I wasn't about to do that. No.
Listen, you will get hurt when you let feelings form before you first check with your daddy and see if he formed this.
Right.
The same thing for brothers. She may be fine and she could have more curves than a highway, but is she your helper? Not just your helper, but is she a suitable helper?
That's right.
Does she suit you? We already talked about that.
Yeah.
So that's really what we wanted to talk about today. Who sent you? Because every person that comes isn't somebody that God sent. This is Redefined TV,
Where we're redefining relationships righteously.
righteously.